Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. On a Saturday morning, May 16, week number 3, Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. We are here in the house. Come on in, tell a friend, share with somebody, let them know it's time to get going. Virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. Tell somebody, hey Facebook, hit that share button. Hey Twitter, hit that retweet button. I'm ready to rip. And as I'm just waiting for a couple of people, and then I'm going to get it going because I know folks have things to do. But while I'm waiting for these numbers to fill up, I just want you to know that those of you who were with me last week, y'all know I rushed, man. I got hyped and I started rushing and talking fast and worked up a sweat. I'm not doing that this time. Everything in life is trial and error. So last week, the first week, when I planned this thing, I said 30 minutes. And then once I got into it, I said 30 minutes is not going to work because I got so much to say. And then you figure it's free anyway, right? So those that can't hang out for the full time, I understand. But the beauty is the video is always available. It's available on Facebook. It's available on Twitter. It's available on YouTube. I download these to YouTube today, always on the same day. And then you can catch what you didn't catch live at a later time. But the beauty for the live broadcast is that you're able to check in with me live in real time and get the full emotion of what I want to deliver. Right, so I'm gonna take about a minute more, and then we're gonna dive into it. I think I'm gonna go about 45 minutes. I sat up here last night till late, just working these notes, tweeting these notes. Then I got up this morning at like 7:30 and started working them again. And the thing about it is, I had already put this lesson together weeks ago. But that's how meticulous I am, and I'll use that as being instructive right now. That's how meticulous you have to be. I'm talking to an audience of assistant principals. I'm talking to an audience of principals. I'm talking to an audience of assistant superintendents, teachers who are contemplating becoming administrators, or teachers who are already in the graduate school program, or other folks in other categories. But at the core, we're talking about being effective as an assistant principal. So I think as soon as that 496 on Twitter Facebook hits 500, I'm ready to go. And it just hit 500, so I'm ready to go. Once again, somebody, we are in the virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. My name is Principal Kafele. This is something that I do every Saturday for the next, we're in week 3, so a total of 18 weeks. So I want you to come in. I did this at 11 as opposed to a time I typically use, which is 10, because I wanted to give the West Coast an opportunity to get up, and I wanted to even give Alaska and Hawaii a chance to, tune in live and all that kind of stuff, because we got folks in Alaska and Hawaii who do tune in. So if you're new, this is what we do, right? And folks ask me all the time, what's those shirts you wear? These are the shirts I wear for my Saturday broadcast. These are Negro League jerseys. This is the Baltimore Black Sox, right? The Baltimore Black Sox. I wear these with pride. I wear these as a part of my Saturday talk. So let's jump into it. Look here, the book first. Oh man, a lot of you are mad at me. I know it. I've been getting all them tweets. I've been getting all those Facebook messages, or just right on the thread. I ordered my book, Principal Kafele. I was one of the first. I ordered it as soon as you announced it back in early April, and I don't have it. And I'm looking at other people who are posting their book cover, and I don't have my book cover, right? I know, because that book is sold out before it was even printed, right? And that's thanks to probably all of you, right? It's sold out before it was printed. Thousands were printed. So now the publisher, ASCD, they said, okay, we got this. So they went on and printed an insane number, right? I mean, it's bananas, to use an old Word. It's bananas. It's just thousands and thousands of copies which come off press this Wednesday. Right? So I said May 25, but they come off press this Wednesday, and then they're going to shoot them books out there. So your books will be coming. Those of you that didn't order, this is it. The Assistant Principal 50. I'm using this as the companion, the supplement to the Saturday Virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. Right? So be patient with me. Don't be mad at me. Just be patient. I didn't know it was going to be a rush like that on the book, but I'm blessed for it. Right? So here we go. And I don't do the shout outs on Saturday for those of you who are accustomed to me doing that on Sundays. I don't do that for this because this is a different audience. It's a much larger audience, but I see you. So let's go. Here we go. For this academy for 18 weeks, I said we got one overarching question. And then, wait. One more thing. A lot of you said to me, no, I guess I said this. I'm going over 30 minutes, okay? I'm going to go over. I know that because I got so much. So just hang in there. I guess I said that already. Okay, the overarching question for this entire 18 weeks, and you better best believe I'm going to start it back up in the fall. It just won't be every Saturday. But for the entire 18 weeks, the overarching question that I want you to just look at yourselves as we advance, as we proceed. I want you to look at yourselves and you ask the question, does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? Once again, does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? I just want you throughout the course of your tenure as assistant principal, throughout the course of this assistant principal academy, throughout your career, I just want you to ask yourself the question, does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically, right? And I'm going to reiterate that literally every Saturday morning. Because that's the overarching question for the entire academy. Does my assistant principalship benefit my school? But I don't put the question mark after my school. I put the question mark after the word academically. So is there something about your presence in the school that your school benefits with you in your role as assistant principal? Now, secondly, last week, as I do every week, and as I will for all the weeks, I'm giving you a question, a parting question, a closeout question that is just for you, right? To consider, to let marinate, to let ruminate, to ponder over. The question that I gave you last week was, are the teachers that I supervise at an advantage because of the collegial relationship that I have with them? Right? Once again, I gave you this as a parting question. I know there's some new folks on here that weren't here for the parting question. So let me repeat it again. And I'm saying to you, this was the end of last week's discussion. Are the teachers that I supervise at an advantage because of the collegial relationship that I have with them? So I asked you to just consider that question all week, and even during a global pandemic. I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we're in the midst of it, right? And I'm up in Jersey, so I'm in the hot spot here, right? So, but I don't want you to lose sight of the fact that whether it be you as assistant principal remotely, virtually, at a distance, or you as assistant principal at the school, right? I'm asking you, in terms of that parting question, is there something about the collegial relationship that you have with your staff? I didn't say the relationship, you know them, they know you. I'm saying the collegial relationship. Is there something about that dynamic that your teachers are at an advantage as it relates to the academic performance of the students? Said differently, are they at an advantage as it relates to their pedagogy in a classroom rooted in your instructional leadership, your clinical supervision? Is there this symbiotic relationship that exists within that space as a result of you? See, that's critical. I always say the mirror's up: self-reflection, self-assessment, self-adjustment, self-improvement. So you got to go to your mirror And you got to ask yourself the question. Now, I know a lot of you take notes, right? Because I've been just overjoyed, elated to see the volume of notes that folks are posting on Twitter on a regular basis that you took as a result of this academy. So please continue to do so, right? Make sure you're taking notes. Recording and watching the recording over and over is a good thing. But in terms of the brain locking it in, it's better when you take that pen and you're writing, right? That's how you lock it in. So I want you to lock in that question so that now, as you proceed throughout the course of a school year, including during a pandemic, that you're asking yourself regularly, are my teachers at an advantage? Are my teachers at an advantage? Is there something about the collegial relationship that I have with my teachers that takes them to another level? Or you might tweak the question and ask, does the collegial relationship exist amongst myself and the teachers? Am I a full-time disciplinarian? Am I a full-time student activity? Am I a full-time whatever, as opposed to being a full-time, most of my time, all of my time, instructional leader moving the academic needle to the right? See, that's what's crucial, right? So let me dive into today's topic. Hey, somebody, hit that retweet button up there in the Twitterverse. Hey, somebody down here in the Facebook world, hit that share button, because I know there's some assistant principal out there in the world somewhere that's probably depressed, down and out, trying to figure out if this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my career. And I'm saying to you, a lot of their answers, if not all their answers, are sitting in this house where I reside on these two screens, letting them know I got you. But if they don't know about it, then they can't tune in. I want them to tune in and then lock in, right? So here we go. Today's question, man, this is a big one. Do I understand that the core of the assistant principalship is to assist the principal? Now, I'm not even going to add the rest of the question yet. I want to repeat that. Do I understand? And I know from my experience in this business, you know, I'm a 34-year educator. I know that there are folks out here that do not like this point of view that I have. I've debated people, but I stand on it firmly. So I'm asking the question again, do I understand that the core of the assistant principalship is to assist the principal, ... not lead the school? Oh man, that makes me sit back for a minute. See, those lines can't be blurred. They can't become blurred. The assistant principal is not the principal. The assistant principal is the assistant to the principal. And one has to realize that, because see, I'm out on the road doing the work that I do as far as seminars, etc. And I have these opportunities to have conversations with assistant principals all the time. And one of the things that the assistant principals say, because, you know, as a presenter, I'm going to come in and I'm going to say things that people like, right? That's what we do, right? I'm going to come in and say things that people are going to say, yeah, I like that. I can use that. Like I hope you guys are doing over these 3 weeks, right? So yeah, I can use that. Man, that's something I can infuse into my practice. That's something I can infuse into or incorporate into my practice. So a lot of times an assistant principal will come to me and they'll say, you know, Principal Kafele, man, I hear what you're saying. Now hear me, somebody. I feel like I need to whisper this because I don't want the principals to get mad at me, right? But they'll say, Principal Kafele, here's my problem. You spoke today, let's say, for example, you spoke today from 8 to 4. That's a long day, but that's what I do. They say you spoke today from 8 to 4. And I was with you for the whole day. You spoke my truth. You spoke to me is what they'll tell me, right? But here's the problem. They'll say, but I can't take a lot of this back. Now, what I'm talking about situations where I'm talking to a room full of assistant principals. I do a lot of assistant principal seminars in districts, so it's just them. The principal's not present. So now they'll come to me and they say, Principal Kafele, man, like I hear you, but some of this I can't take it back because I won't be allowed to, right? That's one thing they'll say. So the principal will restrict me, and there's certain things that you said that I know in my soul I should be doing as assistant principal, but the principal will not permit me to do those things. That's number one. Number two, they'll say, Principal Kafele, I'm with you. But the problem is the principal and I are not on the same page. I meaning you. The principal and I are not on the same page, right? So if only the principal would do this, man, our school would be blue ribbon. But it's the principal. So I hear a lot of those kinds of criticisms. I hear a lot of those kinds of complaints. And here's what I'm saying to you. I'm saying, hey, assistant principal out there. Hey, aspiring assistant principal out there. You are there to assist regardless. And if that means to position yourself to help your principal, if you see faults, if you see deficiencies, if you see weaknesses in your principal, that means you've got to position yourself to be an asset to that person relative to these faults. So the faults are there, but now here you've positioned yourself to assist in helping this person to become better, that much more effective, that much more efficient without stepping on this person's toes. Do you hear me? Without creating a rift between the two of you, without overstepping your bounds or your reach, right? That's how you got to approach that. You don't sort of venture off and try to lead your own school while the principal's leading his or her own school. Because again, going back to the question for today's theme, do I understand that at the core of my assistant principalship is to assist the principal, not lead the school, right? So I'm saying to you, although you're an assistant principal, I know because I was there. I was an assistant principal. There's always that temptation to lead the school, to want to lead the school. It's there because you see things. Here you are. You know you were an extraordinary classroom teacher. You know you were getting it done. So you want to step in and be that leader. Now we're going to talk about today how you can be that person. Y'all just going to have to bear with me because it's like it's 11:17 right now. You know I'm not wrapping up at 11:30. So just strap up and hang out with me for a little while so that I can give you this full message. And then you take this and incorporate it with you. Those of you that wrote me on Twitter and said, just you could slow down. I'm riding with you. I'm slowing down, y'all. Right? So listen, do me a favor, Twitter, hit that retweet for me. Do me a favor, Facebook, hit that share button for me. I want somebody out there that's sitting around depressed right now trying to figure out what to do. Because I'm even going to talk to you about leading relative to a global pandemic, right? We're going to talk about that today too, right? So just hit that share button and let somebody out there know, man, Principal Kafele, he dropping the nuggets. He planting the seeds, but you got to be here. So you remember last week, I broke the session up into 10 questions, self-reflective questions, questions that were designed for you, the listener, to say, ouch. There was a time in my career when I used to kind of position myself as a motivational speaker under the umbrella of education. So within the realm of education is motivator. And I moved from that language. They tell me I'm inspiring. They tell me I'm motivating, but I don't use that language anymore. I said I need something different because motivation doesn't always last. Like someone on the screen could be motivated right now, but later on, as you shift into the other things in your day, your life, you may not be thinking about the message that Principal Kafele delivered. So I decided instead of using the term motivation, I said, I'm going to use the word discomfort. I created a title. I said, I'm a discomfort speaker. My role is to create discomfort, to create tension, to create uneasiness toward the listener, right? Because if I can do that, that'll mean when you hear something, you'll say, ouch. You might squirm in your seat. right? You might say, oh my God, I need to do something about that. Like when I said to you, when I asked you the question in terms of today's question, do I understand that no, not that one, but the overarching question, does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? Now, if you looked at yourself and you know it doesn't, like you're being honest with yourself, you're looking at your mirror and you know that you're a disciplinarian full time, right? Then that question was designed for you to say, ouch. Like a bee sting, ouch, right? Because I'm saying to you, if you're not that person, then you got to become that person. So in the interim, as you listen to me, I want you to be uncomfortable. I want you to be uncomfortable within your comfort. So if you rolling in your assistant principalship feeling comfortable and there are things that are not getting done by you, I want you to feel uncomfortable. I want to create discomfort in your life. I want to create uneasiness in your life. I want to create tension in your life so that now you go back after you sign me off when you hit that end button, and now you start looking within yourself without me being the distraction. And you say, yeah, how do I benefit my kids, my staff, my school when I'm writing on, like we pretend this is a referral. When I'm reading referrals all day, let me put it in the screen, reading referrals all day and signing off, okay, you're suspended for a day or two. You're in detention. You got ISS. You got after school detention. You got Saturday detention. And you doing this all day long. You know that those assistant principals are out there and you might be one of them. So I'm saying to you, you cannot continue to live that way and expect your school to soar. It's not going to happen. So that's why the question. So now I got 6 questions for you today. I got 6 and then I'm out, right? So let's go to them. You know I got some commentary with them questions. It ain't that simple, right? So here we go. Question number 1. And you guys, you see me kind of looking to my left because I don't wing this stuff. I got notes, right? I don't wing it. So here we go. Question 1. Has your role as an assistant principal been fully discussed between you and your principal? Oh, man. Once again, has your role as an assistant principal been fully discussed between you and your principal? That's a big one. And let me tell you the genesis of that one. Let me tell you where that's coming from. You all know, most of you know, because some of y'all got these assistant principal positions because you studied them videos I made. I put a lot of free stuff out here, y'all. And those videos on interviewing for the principalship, I know a lot of you got them positions and I'm proud of you. But here's something interesting that happened when I put those vids out. I know at least 1,000 assistant principals in America have gotten their positions in part because they watched those videos. How do I know a number that large? Because at least 1,000 people have reached out to me to say, thank you, I got the job because of them videos you made, right? On interviewing for the assistant principalship. That's how I know. So, but here's what happened. As they were saying, thank you, because in the video I facetiously say at the end, you better thank me when you get hired, because I was that confident that those videos had that kind of information in them that folks were going to get hired. I was that confident, right? I knew those videos were potent. I'm not patting myself on the back. I just knew they were potent. I knew they had the right stuff for someone to get hired as an assistant principal, and the principal videos. But here's the peculiar thing that happened. I started getting hit with inbox messages and DMs from people who got the job, who said, Principal Kafele, I got the job. Now what? Oh, man. See, I started getting those. And they were saying, now what? Like, what do I do next? And I was a little disappointed by that, if I could be transparent. I was a little disappointed that folks were saying to me, now what? Because in my mind, you should know now what. The now what is to report to that building and set up a time to have conversation with that principal. Hit that retweet button up there in the Twitter world. Hit that share button for me, somebody in the Twitter world, right? I mean, Facebook world. So now folks were writing me, now what? What do I do next? And I'm like, are they serious? So here's what happened. After I got over my little disappointment, because it was a lot of folks, I sat right here in this chair, same background, and made a video called, You got the assistant principal job. Here's what's next, right? And I went on and laid it out in the video. So here, I'm going to say to you this. I'm not going to get all into the video. You watch the video if you need to watch the video on YouTube. I'm going to say this to you. The question on the floor: has your role as assistant principal been fully discussed between you and your principal? I'm saying to you, somebody, I don't care if you're a seasoned veteran, you've been an assistant principal now for 10 years and you're still not clear on your role, or you're an assistant principal for your veteran assistant principal and you're still a full-time disciplinarian, then this applies to you too. I'm saying today, if your principal is like me and works 24/7, see, if a staff member or a colleague, assistant principal, administrator called me on a Saturday, I'm good because I'm a workaholic. Some of you know, y'all see me on Twitter late at night like, does this dude ever sleep? I'm a workaholic, right? I work around the clock. So if someone called me to have conversation professionally on a Saturday, I'm good with that. Somebody called me on a Sunday, I'm good with that. I used to write my staff bulletin on Sundays and email it Sunday morning so my staff could read it anytime they wanted to read it. So I was always good with that, right? So I'm saying to you, whenever the opportunity presents itself, if you are not clear in its totality relative to your role as assistant principal, you need to make that call. And I'm gonna tell you, you may have a rookie, green, raw principal that may not even know. I mean, that's conceivable that you could have a principal that does not know what your role is. Here's why. A rookie principal that positioned him or herself to get the principalship, but right now in real time, but last year was a full-time disciplinarian and knew nothing about school leadership outside of disciplining students, supervising cafeterias, or engaging in bus duty, right? Counseling young people, reprimanding young people, that type of thing, opening up an assembly, right? But that's not principal leadership. That's just some facets of it. But that's not the leadership that puts kids into Harvard, right? That puts kids into Yale, that put kids into Hampton, puts kids into Howard, right? That's not what that does. That's just something that kind of keeps the school afloat for the day, right? So I'm saying to you, so now here that person was in that role last year as an assistant, and now all of a sudden this person is the principal. And now that person may not have the ability, hear me, the ability to express his or her expectations for the assistant principal, because the only thing he or she knows about the assistant principalship are those things I just delineated. See? So now you got the quote unquote, figuratively speaking, blind leading the blind, right? You got a principal that knows nothing about principal leadership, and you got an assistant principal that knows nothing about assistant principal leadership, and you got a staff that's dependent upon both of them, right? You got a student body that's dependent upon both of them. That's a school that's in trouble. See? So I'm saying to you, and I just see someone said, that's deep. You got that right, Twitter. That's deep. And I'll add to it, but it's real, right? It is real. So now you and I, matter of fact, it's so deep, and Twitter going wild with wow, truth. Look here, y'all, hit that retweet, because there's some principal out there that needs to hear what I just said, right? Hey, Facebook, same thing, hit that share button. There's some principal out there that's in the dark, because no fault of his or her own, but in the dark, knows nothing about principal leadership, but got that promotion, got that principalship, and now leading a school and has assistant principals on his or her team and does not know what to do with them. And that goes back to my question. How has your role as assistant principal been fully discussed between you and your principal? So now let me give you the solution. See, I've been stating the problem. Now let me go to the solution. You doing your reading, you going to conferences, and the Zoom world is going berserk. I live on Zoom. You could send my mail to Zoom these days. I'm on Zoom like 7 days a week, right? So I'm saying to you, you're on Zoom with these conferences and panel discussions. You on Principal Kafele's assistant principal leadership's so what am I calling this? Academy, right? So I'm saying to you, when you approach that your principal, And I'm gonna talk to you how to approach them in the next question, in one of the other questions. But when you approach that, your principal, you're not only approaching the principal in terms of seeking his or her answers and advice, you're approaching the principal because you may know some things or see some things or be aware of some things or have some insight on some things that your principal does not have. So now, but you got to be delicate in how you approach your principal. See, because I'm not on here bashing principals. That's not what I do. I'm a principal for life, right? I wear that title. So, but I'm saying you got to approach that principal in a way that you can have the conversation, because in that scenario, the two of you may be actually learning together from one another. Your principal becomes your thought partner, and you become the thought partner of your principal, right? But we're going to talk, but see, someone out there in the world is saying to me right now, yeah, but it's friction. Look, I'm getting ready to deal with that, y'all. I'm getting ready. I got on my baseball jersey. I told y'all that came on late. I got on my Negro League jersey. I wear these every week. Baltimore Black Sox, right? I'm getting ready to hit this thing out the park, y'all. Grand slam in terms of the relationship. So you got to hang with me for a minute, right? So let me go to the second question. Are you clear on your lane / role as assistant principal? Now that's a little different from the first question, because here the first question I'm saying, has your role been discussed? So now let's theoretically speaking, it's been discussed. So now I'm asking this, the follow-up, are you clear on therefore your lane? See, the principal's lane might be out here and extremely wide, right? Let me just put it on camera. Extremely wide. Your lane might be over here, and it might be very narrow. And I'm asking you, do you understand that you have a lane? And unless there's understanding between you and principal, those lanes can't become one or blurred. We want you working collaboratively as a team, but there's a certain lane for you to walk in. And do you understand that? Let me give you an example. COVID-19, global pandemic, coronavirus, right? I have heard from more than my share of assistant principals, either because some of them call me, right? So phone, DM, inbox, email, whatever. And I've heard, it's amazing that I've heard this as many times as I have. They said, Principal Kafele, I don't know what I should be doing right now because nobody's in the building. The principal is at home. The staff is at home. The students are at home. I'm at home. I haven't had dialogue with the principal, so I don't really know what it is that I should be doing. See, now that I get those come to me, though, and I find I'm grateful that someone sees fit to share that with me. But it disappoints me to hear it, because here's my answer. I got a very short answer for that. Hey, assistant principal, pick up your phone. Don't email. Pick up your phone and call the principal immediately and say, Principal, I'm here to assist. What do you need me to do? Or do you just want me to take my own initiative and do what I feel needs to be done? See, you got to have that conversation. You can't be assistant principal and you like, what do I do? I'm home. I don't know what to do because the principal hasn't called me. Don't wait for the principal to call you. Hey, principal, this is assistant principal so-and-so. I'm here to assist you in whatever way I can within the midst of this global pandemic. How do you need me? Or I'm here to assist you, and here's some things that I would like to do. Right? So, for example, the things you would like to do, and you don't even have to make this call. Some things you would like to do. You got teachers that you supervise. I mentioned this in week 1. You have teachers that you supervise. Why not call each of them? Not email them. Why not call every teacher that you supervise, or set up a Zoom meeting with every teacher that you supervise and check in on them, right? Because, we talk so frequently about the trials and tribulations of the students, right? And what they're dealing with, particularly those who come from a tough home environment, and now they don't have the reprieve from the environment to go into the school and be away from that for a day, and perhaps even into the evening if there's an after school program. Right. So now they're now trapped and confined in that environment 24/7. And if there's all sorts of not only the pressures that came with it prior to the pandemic, but the pressures that were added to it because of the pandemic, the loss of loved ones' lives, the illness of loved ones, the loss of work, the lack of receiving the federal check, and I can go on and on. Domestic abuse is on the uptick exponentially, right? So you got all that going on. Crime is on the rise. So youngster is in that environment trap. So a lot of times we talk about the youngster and what the youngster is up against and what the things that we can do from a distance to help youngster. But here I'm talking about that teacher's got his or her own trials and tribulations, as you, the administrator, does. So I'm saying to you, make sure like if you're wondering what can I do, I'm giving you the advice right now. Check in on your teachers that you supervise or all staff that if you supervise custodians, secretarial staff, right? Paraprofessionals, whatever the case may be, that's something you can do. Check in on them. Send them a Zoom link, put them on the screen, and reassure them that I'm here. I got you, right? But that's you taking the initiative within your lane. See, principal got his or her lane. And if principal is such that I'm training my assistant principal to be a leader, then you are in that lane. But see, all principals are different. But if that principal's like, look, I'm not threatened by you. You're on my team. I need you to know what I know. I'm training you to be better than me. See, if you got a principal with that mindset, then your lane is vast. It's wide, right? So now you're in the principal's lane because the principal has expectation and anticipation that you're going to proceed just like him or her. So you gotta assess, weigh out your own situation to determine what kind of situation are you in. Right? So are you in a situation where the principal is not threatened by you, that's eager to make you great, that's eager to make you an extraordinary leader and to expose you to every single aspect of school leadership? Is that what you have? Or do you have a leader that keeps you at bay? And then everything in between, because we know that the two extremes, that I want my AP to be phenomenal, I'm keeping my AP at bay, and then everything in between. We know that all those categories exist. We know that. So you now have to determine, well, which one of them am I, right? Where do I fall, right? Where do I stand? So let me go. I tell you, I got 6 questions for you. Man, look what time it is, y'all. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Hit that retweet. Hit that share. Now, look here, for the people that may have joined for the first time this week, don't be discouraged because the presenter is going like over. Don't be discouraged by that. You can sign out and then check it out on video later. It just won't be live, so you're not going to get my energy. Because see, I want you to get my energy. I want you to get my sweat, right? So I'd rather you stay live, but if you can't, I understand. Someone on Twitter said, this is so good. See, that's what's going to make me stay on here for like 3 hours. When I see someone write something like that, she said, this is so good. That like a bunch of O's. So good. That make me stay on here all day. Because I'm in Jersey, y'all. You see, so y'all, those of you down in the South, and y'all can go to the beach and go to the store and go get your hair done and all that kind of stuff. I'm in Jersey. We have strict stay-at-home orders. I have nothing to do but talk to you, right? So now let me go to question number 3. Have you been given the flexibility to take the initiative in areas that you deem could be enhanced without creating conflict with your principal? I kind of spilled over into that, so I don't even need to go in depth with that, but I want to read it again. Have you been given the flexibility to take the initiative in areas that you deem could be enhanced without creating conflict with the principal? Now, let me pick that one apart because I want to go in a different direction. My story with that. As an assistant principal, and we talk about this word flexibility. As an assistant principal, I was I was studying my principal. As I told you before in week 1, I said your principal is an extension of your grad school program. You study your principal, right? So I was studying my principal, and I saw some things. And I saw some things that I would do differently. I'm not criticizing him now. I just saw some things I would have done differently, but I wasn't in position to implement them. I want to give you these 2 examples. Number 1, let's say a youngster just committed some egregious act, right? Or even there was this big fight, right? And it drew a crowd, right? And that goes against everything that I stand for, but it happens in places. So let's say that when I was an assistant principal, there was some fight and there was a crowd and they were watching and they were cheering and all that kind of stuff. Well, typically, not only my school, but any school, typically now, because I know that there are exceptions to the rule. Typically, we investigate who was involved, we get who's involved, we impose some kind of consequence, and we move on and hope it doesn't recur. When I saw that as an AP, I said, man, if I was the principal of the school, hear me somebody, I would not engage solely in an investigation, imposition of consequences, and then hope it doesn't happen again. I'm walking that building as an assistant principal, and I'm looking at the various infractions. I'm talking about the egregious ones now. I'm looking at that, and I'm saying to myself, if I was the principal of this school, I would interrupt instruction. Now, this is me now. I'm not trying to impose this on you. Just hear me. I said I would interrupt instruction as soon as I finished that investigation and impose the consequence. And I would summon everybody. I don't like that word summon. I would request every student in the building and staff report to the auditorium. If it's a big mega Texas, Florida, California school, then I would do it by grade level. But I would bring everybody into the same space, and I would let them know what happened. Because I'm not one that sweeps stuff under the rug so that the public doesn't know that I got a problem in my school. I don't have that kind of ego that I've got to pretend that everything is great and give the illusion that everything is just gravy in the building. So instead, I'm going on my PA system. I'm calling everybody, report to the gym, report to the auditorium, whatever it is, report to the field, whatever I'm going to use. And then I'm going to discuss what happened. And I'm going to express my dismay. I see one of my former students on here, Jarvis Green, so he can attest to that. I'm going to discuss my dismay as to what happened, what transpired. And then I'm going to let them know what the consequence was. Because now letting them know that I took action. Because see, if stuff happens in a building, I'm talking about egregious now. I'm not talking about your little lightweight stuff. I'm talking about something egregious, and a cluster of students or students here, students there, they know about it, but they don't know you did anything about it, or they don't know how serious you took it, and now feel that, well, maybe I can get away with it myself, not realizing what happened. I said, let this school know. I called it being in my nip it in the bud mode. That's what I call it. You read my book, Closing the Attitude Gap, I got it right in there, being in my nip it in the bud mode. So now I got the whole school together, and I'm saying to the school, this is what I did. This was the consequence that was faced. I was on top of it. Them youngsters heard me. They knew how disappointed I was. They knew how dismayed I was. And they knew I took action. Right? I'm not sweeping this under the rug. Oh man, I don't want the community to know that we had a big fight in the building. Or here's another one. I don't want the community to know that someone set a fire in a garbage can. Right? Yeah, I had that happen. I'm being transparent. Right? In my earlier days. Right? So, because I figured that out. So I'm not going to hide from that, sweep that under a rug. I don't want the community to know there was a fire in the building. I don't want the politicians to know. I don't want the superintendent. No, give me the bullhorn. Yeah, there was a fire in the building, right? So now I'm bringing the school together. All hundreds of them. Yes, there was a fire in the building. And I was so committed to making sure that it didn't happen again that I found that person within 5 minutes, right? So now, and we did, the consequence was whatever it was. The school heard that. right? There was a fight in the building, and it was a mini melee. So I investigated to find out who were the actors, and we dealt with it. Here's my point that I'm saying. I was assistant principal, y'all. I'm watching this stuff. I'm not talking about my principal days. I'm watching this stuff, right? So now as I see it, I'm like, man, we could nip this in the bud if we brought them together and expressed to the entire school family that we are not, that we are utterly opposed to this. We will not tolerate this behavior. Instead of it's just the privacy of the individuals who were engaged. I don't need to put them on the PA system and announce to school it was student A, student B. No, I'm not going to do that. That's a violation of their constitutional right. But what I am going to do, I'm going to let them know that something happened. They'll figure out who it was. I'm letting them know something happened, and the principal dealt with it. But again, I was assistant principal watching from afar saying, I wish I could do that. And then when I became principal, then I was able to do that. You see the difference? So that's one example. A second example, as an assistant principal, I would sit back and observe the staff meetings. And I said, man, if I was principal, no way in the world I would be leading staff meetings like this. Staff meetings where we're talking about administrative things, right? All these administrative duties and functions of a teacher. I said, man, I'm not doing that. I said, if I was the principal, that's not how I'm leading a staff meeting. And then an email was brand new at the time when I became a principal. It had just come on the scene, email and the internet. I said, man, I'm going to put the staff meeting agenda in a bulletin and blast that to my staff so that at the staff meeting, I'm talking about teaching and learning. Y'all didn't hear me. Somebody out there watching this morning, you having staff meetings talking about the copier is not working. And the teachers are just having a gripe session in that. But y'all spending 20 minutes talking about, somebody said word, you know it, word up. You know it. Spending staff meeting time talking about a copier in the teacher's lounge that we all know is broken. We already know, but we spending 20 minutes just crying, having a gripe session. Right? Or the paper shortage. We're talking about the paper shortage. The paper hasn't arrived yet. So we're spending valuable time talking about the paper shortage, right? Or we're talking about there were 5 teachers not at their door between classes. So now so the principal's mad and spending another 20 minutes talking, I expect you guys to stand at the door, right? Man, come on. So I'm assistant principal. And I'm watching this. I ain't doing no shells, but someone said, come on here, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So now watch this. I'm watching this. I said, man, when I become principal, I'm not leading my staff meetings like that. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. I said, the staff meeting, I'm talking teaching and learning. I'm going to take my principal's hat off. I'm putting it over here. And I'm going to put my professional developer hat on, right? I'm not spending the staff minimum valuable minutes like I'm in a unionized state. So they can negotiate how many minutes the staff meeting will be for the month. So they negotiated at the time. You got 210 minutes for the entire month. 210 minutes. Let me tell you something. That's nothing in terms of being that professional developer. But that's what it was. That was what was negotiated. So I had to adhere to that, right? And then when I got to another district, all I had was 90 minutes for an entire month. You think I'm going to talk about a copier? You think I'm going to talk about the fact that one of the classrooms, there was papers on the floor? I can talk to that teacher one-on-one and deal with that. Right? Or email or whatever, so that at that staff meeting, we can talk about teaching and learning. So what's this got to do with this presentation? I'm talking about, again, the question, have you been given the flexibility to take the initiative in areas that you deem could be enhanced without creating conflict? So if you take the initiative with the conversation with the principal and say, look, just to use my example, let's make these staff meetings a lot more productive, right? And I don't mean saying it like that, because that's that can create friction. I'll talk about how we say it in a few minutes. But having that conversation, that's what I'm saying, right? That those staff meetings can be that much more productive, where at the core of the meeting, doesn't mean that that's all we're going to say, but I'm saying at the core of the meeting, we're talking teaching, we're talking learning. See, that's crucial. Let me go to number 4. Man, time is racing. I'm going to be done by 11, y'all. How are your, now here's the solution. How are your people skills? I'm talking to you, assistant principal. How are your people skills relative to you having the ear of the principal? Once again, how are your people skills relative to you having the ear of your principal? This is probably the most important thing I'll say today. Your people skills matter. If you do not have people skills relative to your students, your staff, your parents, the community, but in this case, I'm talking about between you and the principal. Oh man. Let me give you a scenario. You know I always got an illustration with this. Hit that, hey, Twitter, hit that retweet. Somebody out there needs to hear this, because somebody thinks because they have the title of assistant principal, they can come at people like this. Hey, Facebook, hit that share button for me, because there's somebody who has the title of assistant principal, the title of leader, so they think that gives them the authority to just come at people, bam, bam, or stomp your foot, bam, right? They don't understand that this does not bring about desired results. This brings about friction. Yeah, you can crush people, but because you have that authority, but you're not going to get anything out of them. So if you get off on, your ego, yeah, man, I got them, man. I crushed them. I stepped on them. I wrote a memo, even underlined it in red. If that's what turns you on, then fine. But that doesn't translate into enhanced productivity from that teacher. You just got a teacher with an attitude now. You just got tension now. So now you got an attitude, teacher got an attitude, and the children lose every time. Every time. They're the ones who suffer. But bigger picture macro, the children suffer, but so does society, because two people had an attitude, right? And the principal was the one that caused the attitude, because you thought because of your title, or the assistant principal, that you can just come at somebody, bam, because I got the title, I got the authority, so I can just come at you hard, make you feel miserable, make you unhappy, give you stress. You take that home, and now you at home mad, and everybody got to listen to you, right? Because you crying, and there's people in your family that got sympathy for what you're dealing with, but it didn't have to be that way. People skills. Let's talk about it. Watch this, y'all. Y'all better hang with me. I like them numbers, so just keep on hitting that retweet and that share. Here we go. Here's what I mean. Let's go to the auto dealership. Here, y'all. Jump in my ride right now. We going to the auto dealership together right now. I got a truck in front of your house. Jump on in. Here we go. I'm driving. We going to the auto dealership. Now, y'all with me? Let's see how many we got in here. We got like 1,300 on here. We at the auto dealership, right? Now, we go to the general manager, all 1,300 of us. We go to the general manager. I'll lead it though, right? Hey, general manager. Who's your top producer here? Who's your top salesperson in this showroom? And the general manager says, right over there, that young lady right there. Can we see her? He said, all 1,300 of you? Yeah. Can we see her? What do you want to see her about? We want to know how she's the top producer. What's she doing different from everybody else in this auto dealership? He says, okay, well, she's really busy, but if she could squeeze you in, she could maybe give you 10 minutes. So we go over there. She said, man, y'all, that's a lot of y'all. What y'all do for a living? We're educators, but we want to ask you something. We're leaders. We want to ask you something. She said, go ahead and ask. I got a minute. What makes you the top producer here? She chuckles. She chuckles. She said, well, here's the thing. She said, a lot of people, when they sell cars, their mindset is, I sell cars. She said, I don't sell cars. So then I said to her, but if you don't sell cars, how you the top producer? How you the $1 million salesperson in this showroom, in this dealership? She said, well, a lot of people, when they get into this business, here's what they do. She said, a lot of them, they sell the features of the car. So they know the car inside and out. So they will highlight the features of the car. She said, but that doesn't sell the car. She said, then there's people, and they not only do they sell the features of the car, but they know the benefits of the features, right? So instead of focusing solely on the features, they sell the benefits. So now she said, but even that, it doesn't make you a top producer. She said, so I don't sell features nor benefits. That's what she said to all 1,300 of us, right? So then I said to her, well, then how you outselling everybody? How you outproducing, outperforming all these folks in this dealership? She said, very simple. She said, while they're selling cars, while they're selling features, while they're selling benefits, I'm forging relationships. Y'all ain't hear me. Twitter, y'all ain't hear me. Facebook, y'all did not hear me. She said, while they're selling cars, while they're selling features of the car, while they're selling the benefits of the car, I'm forging relationships when they walk through the door. Y'all hear me? She said, when I see that person, my objective is to win a new friend. She said, I'm not looking at them people with dollar signs on their face. I'm not doing that. I'm not looking at them saying, okay, I got to sell this car so I can pay these bills, so I can eat. She said, when they walk in that door, she said, I'm here to win me a new friend. So what that got to do with this question, Principal Kafele, people skills? I'm glad you asked. Because now they're not talking about a car. See, the one that's selling cars is having a car conversation. The one that's forging relationships is having a people conversation. Let me be more specific. The one that's that's forging relationship is having a conversation about the one that just walked in. Watch this. Let me role play this one right quick. Hey, and I'm gonna do it quick so that you're not gonna get the full. Hey, somebody, how you doing? My name is well, I said a woman. My name is Julia, right? So what's your name? And they tell her name. Hey, wow, what do you do? And I'm an assistant principal over at the school around right here in this town. Assistant principal? Oh my God, man, that's a tough position. You do that? Man, you must really be good. I mean, I could just look at you and see that you're good, though. Tell me about what you do. Like, how do you ensure that the children are learning? And that's all you needed to hear. Because now from there, you, the customer, you're going to take over. Because you're going to talk all about being that assistant principal. And you might even go back into when you were a teacher. And that person going to sit there like this, just listening and smiling and affirming you. Oh, man, you know something? If there were more of you in the world would be a better place. And like someone just said, the floodgates are open, right? If there were just more of you in the world, man, the world would be a better place. These kids would be so much more advanced than they are right now. And you just using that. You just keep coming. And next thing you know, watch this. You sitting behind the wheel, test driving the car. You didn't even go in there to buy the car. You went in there just to look around because you were bored. I'm going to make a long story short, y'all, because I know I've been on here a while. Next thing you know, they made an offer to you. You brought a new car home. Your spouse was like, I thought you was going to the supermarket. That person said, I got me a new friend. And that just makes it, what am I saying, somebody? I'm saying you got to have the people skills when you talk to that principal. You can't go in there, you all face all frowned up, you mad, got an attitude, man, and you think you're going to move the needle. You think you're going to get your principal to say yes to what you want. You look like I look right now. You got your little attitude. You forgot you in there, your neck going, man. Man, come on. That stuff don't work. People skills. You got to study that principal and know how to talk to that principal because they're not all the same, right? So you got to know your principal and then you know, okay, this is what I'm going to say. This is how I'm going to come at it. You got to have the skills, man. That's one of the most potent skills that an individual could have is people skills. People run around calling me doctor all the time. Dr. Kafele, Dr. Kafele. I see big posters. Dr. Kafele is speaking today. I ain't no doctor, but my people skills made them think I'm doctor, right? So I'm saying to you, you got to have them skills in how you interact with people. Let me keep going because somebody's saying, man, Kafele going all day, man. Like I just finished this page, right? But I still got this page. So let me Somebody said, I ain't coming on here next week, man. This dude, he taking up my whole Saturday. Hey, look, if somebody is really thinking that, right? Because I'm being facetious. I am not serious. If somebody is really thinking that, I'm going to say respectfully to you, shame on you. I'm giving you free game. I'm giving you my stuff on a Saturday sitting in my dining room area. I was supposed to be in the kitchen, but I get better reception in here. In my dining room area, and you talking about I'm taking too long. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Question number 5. I told you it's 6. I'm almost done. In what ways have you gone about earning, this is a big one too, earning the trust and respect of your principal? Let me say that to you again. In what ways have you gone about earning the trust and respect of your principal? See, if that principal is going to utilize you the way you want to be utilized, if that principal is going to help you to grow into that assistant principal and ready and being trained for the principalship the way that you deserve, that you feel you deserve, not only the people skills, but how you go about earning that person's trust and respect. So in other words, I got this list that I'm gonna go quickly with. I got like 6 items on it. Number 1, your work ethic. Oh man, what's your work ethic, somebody? How do you work? See, how hard do you work? How smart do you work? Just the mirror's up. Look in this mirror and think about your work ethic. I learned the hard way that hard work does not translate into smart work. So that's why I say how you work relative to how hard you work. So does your principal see you putting in the work? But does your principal see you putting in the work intelligently? Right? So you got to work smart, not just work hard. So your work ethic. Number 2, how well do you follow directions? How often does your principal have to tell you the same thing over and over? Right? Do you follow directions? Principal tell you one time, you got it, and then you do it, it's done? Or does the principal have to keep reminding you, have to say it over and over, put it in writing? Right? How well do you follow directions? When I got somebody working for me, whether it's an administrator, whether it's a teacher, whatever it is, and this person has an outstanding work ethic and they follow directions. I could be on the road. I used to do this. Be on the road. I got a thought pops in my mind. I call somebody in my circle. I need you to do this. They do it. I don't even have to follow up and see if they did it. They come to me saying it's done. Right? That work ethic coupled with following directions. You got to follow directions effectively, right? Because we're talking about earning the trust and respect of the principal. That matters. So how well are you following the directions of the principal? And does the principal have to monitor you all the time? Does the principal have to ride you all the time? Does the principal have to remind you all the time? Or are you getting it done? Number 3, being a team player. Oh man, the worst person to have on your team is a lone ranger. And I've been with them. The worst person to have on your team is a lone ranger that's not thinking about the team, that's not thinking about you, just in it for self, doing for me, all about me. See, I don't want those individuals not only on my team, I don't want them in my space. I don't want them in my life. Right? I don't need me people in my life, right? And I guess I'm not a me person, and I definitely wouldn't be doing 18 weeks of talking for an hour, in terms of assistant principal leadership. I'm a us. You guys take this information, run with it, apply it in your school. It's a worldwide win, because we got an international audience in here. It's a worldwide win. So we got to be a we are us. But see that person that's not a team player, and you going it alone, you doing your thing, right? And you're not at the expense of the team, then the team suffers, and you'll never earn. Hear me, somebody. I'm gonna yell this one. You will never, ever earn the trust and respect of the leader. And not only will you not earn it of the leader, you're not going to earn it of the superintendent who can hire you to become the principal either, because they see that you are a lone ranger. They see that you are not a team player. They see that you are not about the team. They see that you are all about yourself. And that doesn't work in this business. If you playing tennis and it's just you on the court against your opponent, then you go on with your bad self. But if you leading a school, then you can't be about you, right? It's got to be about us, right? Number 4, your allegiance to your principal, which I'm using as a euphemism for the word loyal. Sometimes that word loyal has a bad connotation to it. But I'm saying, does that principal know that my assistant principal is in my corner, has got my back, is with me, is down with me? See, that matters. How you going to have an assistant principal and you can't even close your eyes on that person? How you going to have an assistant principal and you got to sleep with one eye open all the time? How you going to have an assistant principal and you don't know what they doing behind the scenes, behind your back, forging all sorts of adversarial alliances against you with different people on the team, in the school? Because, that stuff happens in toxic places, right? And you find a place of toxicity, I guarantee you that's probably part of what's going on in that school, right? So when that person comes on board as assistant principal, meaning you, and you come on board, there's got to be allegiance to that principal. That principal got to know I can go to sleep with my eyes closed and I can go into a deep sleep because I know my assistant principal got my back. My assistant principal is with me. My assistant principal is down with me. My assistant principal is loyal to me. There's allegiance there to me, right? That's critical because y'all are the team. See, I don't like to look at administration and staff as a us and a them. I like to look at us as one, administration and staff, one family. I swear to you, that's the way I like to look at that. But there's a reality within that. And the reality is there is an administrative team. That's the reality. There is a staff. So although I want to see a family, I want to see one, the reality is, but there is, I like that one. It's not a game. But the reality is, it is two separate entities. So that person on my administrative team, I need somebody that I can get into the foxhole with, right? So see, it's some people, I've seen this before. I haven't experienced it, but I've seen it, where if that principal and that assistant principal got in that same foxhole, that assistant principal might put a knife in you if you don't keep your eyes open, right? That person be like somebody on enemy lines, cross enemy lines. You have to make sure that person, that assistant principal, in this case, I'm talking to you, assistant principal, that you are that person that your principal knows. That's your people skills again, that your principal knows. My assistant principal could be in that foxhole with me, and we gonna get this thing done. See, that's who you got to be. You got to demonstrate allegiance. Y'all see, I'm working up a sweat, y'all. You got to demonstrate allegiance to your principal. Even when you feel your principal is moving in the wrong direction, never lose this. This might be one of the most important things I say to you today. Never lose sight of the fact that you may not like this principal. You may feel this principal's moving in the wrong direction. You may feel your principal's ineffective, but guess what? Guess who's the main person that's going to either write that recommendation that's favorable for you to move to the next level or not? Your principal. Why are you going to tick off the principal when that's the one that can open that door for you? Because if the assistant principalship is just a stepping stone to the next level, then you shouldn't even be thinking about this as being permanent. This is just temporary. So you want to have an alliance with your principal. You want to have a solid relationship with your principal, because who's going to recommend you if the principal can't recommend you? Because if the principal can't recommend you, then folks will say, why not? If you went to another district, instead of staying in your home district, you went to look for a principalship in another district and they need a recommendation from the principal, and you're saying, oh man, I don't think the principal, I don't know if I can get a letter from the principal. Look, if I'm the principal that's doing the interview and you tell me that you can't get a favorable recommendation from the principal you work for, guess where you're not going to be working? You're not working with me, because the very person that you work with cannot write any recommendation for you. And that goes back to what I just said. Your people skills matter. They matter. Just think about that saleswoman I talked about. I gave her a name, Julia. Just think about Julia and how she was just selling cars over everybody else because she forged relationships while everybody else was selling cars, selling features, selling benefits. That's how you got to approach that. I'm almost done, y'all. We said next, we talking about building trust and respect, right? From your principal. We said being an asset to your school and your principal. Man, I'm like over an hour now. Y'all still with me, man? I thought I was gonna be off at 11:45 at least, man. It's 12:10, and I'm still not finished, man. But look, we in the midst of a pandemic. Where you going? Well, Florida, y'all going to the beach, right? But those of us up north here, New York, New Jersey, we ain't going nowhere. We can't even get no ice cream, right? So y'all just hang with me. The beach ain't going nowhere. Hang with me, right? So here we go. I'm saying here, you got to demonstrate to your principal that you a plus, man. You an asset. You're needed. You're valuable. That's how you got to approach it. That's how you got to bring yourself. That's how you got to approach it. See that you're necessary. That in the principal's mind, I can't be fully effective without my AP. And I know a lot of y'all watching this because you're putting them hearts up. I know that's who you are. But that's how you got to position yourself. If you're a sports fan and there's a football game, you got a receiver running down the sideline for a pass, and the defender, the cornerback, is out of position. Guess who's going to score that touchdown, assuming that the receiver catches the ball? That's a touchdown every time if the cornerback is out of position. Well, I'm saying to you, you have to be in position. And when you're out of position, in this case, we're talking about being an asset to the school and the principal. But if you're out of position, then the receiver is going to score a touchdown on you every time. See, so I'm saying to you, you got to position yourself. You got to be able to position yourself in a way that principal says, man, I'm a better leader because of my assistant principal. We're a better school because of my assistant principal. That's what you want. See, not no adversarial relationship. And be careful about the crap that you let inside here. Be careful about the thoughts that you create, that you generate. Be careful about the conversations you have with people. Because if you somewhere, and this is hypothetical, you somewhere bad mouthing the principal, and you creating these thoughts inside of you, and you bad mouthing the principal, you're going to eventually own those thoughts, and then they're going to impact the way you approach your principal, because you're going to remember, man, 4 hours ago I was just trashing you, and now I'm trying to win you over. It don't work that way, because psychologically you already been going in on the person. So be careful about what you let in here. Be careful about what you allow this to generate. You want to keep this thing positive, man. I told you last week. Your attitude, your emotions are like a glass. It's fragile. If you drop that glass, it's going to shatter. You got to guard it. You got to protect it. You got to be careful with it. Well, your attitude, your emotions are the same way. You got to protect it. So you can't just let junk inside. You can't just let crap inside. You got to keep it positive and optimistic. You got to be deliberate about that. Right? I'm almost done, y'all. Hit that retweet one more time. Hit that share button one more time. We said still earning that trust and respect. You got to take the initiative in those areas that fall within your lane. So you can't be waiting for the principal to say, do this, do that. If it's in your lane, then daggone it, get it done. Do it. Don't wait. If it's in your lane, don't wait for somebody else. You waiting for somebody else to tell you what to do. Come on now. It's in your lane. Get it done. So that principal can say, man, my assistant principal is gold. My assistant principal is special. My assistant principal, I can always count on, rely on this individual to get it done. That's who you got to be in that role, because you want other people to see you in action. People write me all the time. How do I get a principalship? How do I get a principalship? Do things so other people see you doing it. And don't shy away from self-promotion. And just by you being on this line, you know I self-promote. I ain't no shame in my game. If I didn't self-promote, I wouldn't have these numbers this morning, right? So I self-promote. And when I was a principal, I self-promoted. When I was an assistant principal, I self-promoted because I wanted to be a principal. I wasn't waiting for some newspaper ad. I wasn't waiting for some post-it. I self-promoted. I made sure that everybody that was somebody saw me in action so they would hire me. So because I did it that way, they hired me the next year. I was an assistant principal, nowhere near qualified to be a principal, but my self-promotion got me the job. Then I had to figure it out. So you gotta self-promote. You gotta make your work manifest out there, man. People gotta see what you're doing. So you take the initiative. I'll let you in on a little secret. They got, back in the city I worked in, East Orange, New Jersey, they got a little community paper called the East Orange Record. Everything I did as a teacher, I mean everything, I called the reporter. Yo, come on over and interview with me and my students about this. We were in the paper every week. Ask them people back in East Orange, New Jersey, they'll tell you. Then when I became an assistant principal, I had a lane. And within that lane, I did what I had to do. Guess who I called? A reporter from the East Orange Record. Come on over to Sojourner Truth Middle School and check out what we did under my initiative, right? They put that on the front page. Time after time. Guess who's reading the paper? The superintendent. Guess who he oh, that's that guy Kafele over at the school, man. He doing big things. Next year, Kafele, we can make you principal. See, you got to make sure they know what you're doing. You got to take the initiative. Last one. Once again, your people skills matter. So I'm on the last question and I'm done. Look here, y'all. It says, are you operating within your purpose as an assistant principal? On the one hand, I'm saying to myself as I talk to you, I should have made this like 2 lessons, right? But on the other hand, I'm like, but we ain't got nowhere to go. So I'm almost done. We made it 1 lesson. So here we go. Are you operating within your purpose as an assistant principal? So the operative question becomes, that's right, Shay, East Orange, stand up. Y'all know I don't go nowhere without mentioning East Orange, right? So here I'm saying, what is your assistant principal purpose, right? And people scratch their head with that one. Like if I say, what's your principal purpose? That's easy, right? But assistant principal purpose, because you're an assistant, that's not always easy. But at the core, in terms of our question for today, I say this much, is to assist that principal. But I added some things. Let me give you these. Let me see how many words. Let me give you these 8 words. I ain't even gonna give you no commentary. I'm just gonna give you these words. Write this down. At a bare minimum, your purpose as an assistant principal is to observe. So to observe everything, everywhere. I'm just gonna give you a short version on this. Number 2, to learn. To learn everything that you possibly can. Number 3, to grow. You can't, today's May 16. You can't be the same person on May 17 that you were on May 16. You have to grow intellectually. You have to grow professionally. You cannot remain stagnant. You have to grow. So that was word number 3, you must grow. Word number 4, in terms of your purpose as an assistant principal, you must develop as a school leader. So in other words, the difference between grow, you're growing, you're learning new things, developing, I'm saying coming into your own as a leader, right? You must develop into that. Number 5, talking about your purpose as an assistant principal, you must supervise. So you can't be school disciplinarian and the rest of your staff is just coming in and doing what they do. You got to supervise that. Because you have to position yourself to make them that much more effective. You got to position yourself to make them better at what they do. So you got to position yourself. So you got to supervise. Next number. These are in bullet points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6, you must engage. It's a part of your purpose. Engage. Engaging young people. They can't just be numbers walking around the building. Get to know every youngster in that building, and you got to know them by their name. You got to be able to call them by their name. And the only way you're going to learn them by their name is by interacting with them on a regular basis. Don't just know the one that gets in trouble and the one that gets the awards, all the awards, but know everybody in between. You got to know them. You got to engage them. So I'm saying you got to observe. We talk about, are you operating within your purpose as an assistant principal? But what is your purpose? At a minimum, your purpose is to observe. It is to learn. It is to grow. It is to develop. It is to supervise. It is to engage. The next one, number 7, it is to lead. You must lead. You're an assistant principal. That means you are a leader. You must lead. And we can do a whole nother session just on what the whole 18 weeks is leadership, so I don't need to break that down. Last one. Your purpose at a bare minimum is to assist the principal in all ways possible. You got to assist. So again, your purpose at a minimum is to observe. It is to learn. It is to grow. It is to develop. It is to supervise. It is to engage. It is to lead. It is to assist. You got to incorporate those into your practice. There's so much more we could add, but I'm saying at a minimum. So I'm wrapping up. That that principal AP relationship, they're so different. Some of them, you're given latitude and flexibility to grow. Some, they'll welcome ideas and suggestions from you for change. Some can be quite complex, difficult, if not toxic. We'll get into the principal, assistant principal relationship in another session, a whole session just on that relationship. But the bottom line, as I keep saying, you're there to assist. So let me do some quick housekeeping before I wrap it up. Number one, the Assistant Principal 50. It's number one on Amazon, and it's not even in print. Just get yourself, matter of fact, this morning was number 2, I think. Get yourself a copy, Amazon.com, PrincipalKafele.com will direct you to the publisher, ASCD.org. So you can just go to my website, PrincipalKafele.com, and click the button for the book on the homepage, and it'll direct you to ASCD. So that's number one. Number 2, the Aspiring Principal 50. I want you to have that too, right? So if you're an aspiring assistant principal or aspiring principal, this is for you. These are not the same book. These are 2 different books, 2 different sets of content, but this is available. Number 3, the Principal 50. I want you to have that because you're looking to become a principal, so you might as well start reading something like this as well. And then number 4, is my school a better school because I lead it? I want you to have that. You can get all of these on Amazon right now, including the assistant principal. You can pre-order it right now, and they'll send it to you. If you already pre-ordered and you didn't get it, it's coming. I told you thousands. The number's bananas, the number that they copy. So it's going to be a lot of them out there because I know there's a great deal of interest there. So let me give you this question to take with you into the week. This is my parting question. Take this with you into the week. It says, what measures will I take? This is a self-reflective question. What measures will I take to ensure that I continue to be an asset to my principal and my entire school community? Once again, what measures will I take to ensure that I continue to be an asset to my principal and my entire school community? Take that with you into the week. I'm done. Look here, I'll be back next Saturday at 11 Eastern. I'm not making 30-minute promises anymore. I'm not making 45-minute promises anymore. I'm not even making an hour promise. All I'm saying is I'm bringing inspiration. I'm bringing information. I'm bringing empowerment. I'm bringing passion, and I'm bringing fire. So I don't know how long that's going to take. Just stay with me as long as you can. And if the numbers go down to 0, I'll just talk to myself, right? But I try to keep it less than an hour. I promise. I had a lot written this week, but I'm learning, so I'll reduce it for next week. But look, I'm just trying to help folks who are in the assistant principalship to grow. That's my objective. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting a dime for this. It's just something I wake up on Saturday morning and do, and it's something that I spend the week prior planning to do so that I'm not on here winging it. I want to come on here professional, and I want to make sure that I bring you the information that I think is going to help you. When you get the book, then I'm going to use the book in the presentation, but I'm waiting for everybody to have it. So get the book, The Assistant Principal 50, and then I'm going to start using passages in the book as well. 1 year, some kind of way, I'm going to figure out. Now, I got to tell you this. I have a leadership academy, a school leadership academy where we can be in the same room together. This is not virtual. This is something that I do July 15, 16 in Norfolk, Virginia. But I'm not ready to make the formal announcement. I got to talk to my partners again, and then I'll make it next week if we're going to do it because, with social distancing and all that, I'm just not sure, and I don't want you guys registering, and then I pull out. So just know that July 15 and 16 is when I do this. It's going to be in Norfolk, Virginia this year. School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. 2 days of just being down there talking leadership, but I'm not ready to make a formal announcement that it's in place. We did, but now we kind of backpedal and trying to look at it virtually and all that kind of thing. See you next week. We end it like this. We say, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Then we flip it backwards, sideways. Peace. Then we go with the thumb and we say thumbs up. And then we make a fist and we cock it way back here and we say 1, 2, 3, bam! I hope I brought the fire today. See you next week, Saturday, 11 o'clock Eastern.